The orbital dock was too quiet. Not normal quiet. The kind of quiet that makes a person feel like the universe is waiting for something to happen. Lauren Hayes stood inside an open maintenance shaft, half his body buried in wires and glowing panels. His hands were black with grease. His shirt had stains that might have once been food. Or fuel. He wasn't sure anymore. He was arguing with a plasma coupler. "Listen," he muttered, tightening a bolt. "We can do this the easy way. Or the way where I threaten to replace you with something cheaper." The coupler did not respond. Lauren sighed and took a sip of his reheated station coffee. He instantly regretted it. "I deserve better than this," he whispered to the cup. That was when he felt it. Not heard. Felt. The air behind him shifted. Tightened. Like the station itself stopped breathing. Lauren slowly pulled himself out of the panel and turned around. A woman stood behind him. She looked human. Almost. Pale skin. Long black hair braided with thin silver threads. Sharp posture. Calm expression. But her ears. Long. Elegant. Lemurian. And beautiful enough that Lauren forgot how blinking worked. She stared at him carefully. "Look at my face," she said quietly. Her voice was calm. Clear. Controlled. Lauren blinked. That's usually something people build up to. Her eyes did not move. "Do you remember me?" He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. "I barely remember yesterday," he admitted. She stepped closer. The dock lights reflected across a thin scar near her temple. And something inside Lauren's mind cracked open. Smoke. Alarms. Fire. A child crying. A small body trapped under metal beams. Telos 4. 12 years ago. The evacuation. The burning medical wing. He had lifted a beam he had no right lifting. He had carried a terrified little girl through flames. He remembered her holding his shirt. He remembered promising her she would be okay. And then she disappeared in the chaos. The woman standing before him swallowed gently. "You called me Rhea," she said. His heart stopped. "You," he whispered. "I survived," she said softly. "Because of you." The dock felt smaller. Quieter. He looked at her again. This wasn't a child anymore. This was someone strong. Trained. Controlled. But her eyes still carried that same fear from long ago. "You grew up," he said stupidly. Her lips curved slightly. "Yes." They moved to the observation deck. The stars outside shimmered like frozen fire. She stood near the glass and looked at him. "For years, I wondered if you were real," she said. "Or if my mind created you so I would not be afraid." Lauren scratched the back of his neck. "I wasn't brave," he said. "I was terrified." "You screamed," she replied calmly. He closed his eyes. "Please tell me I screamed heroically." "You screamed like a man arguing with fire." He sighed deeply. "Good enough." For a moment, silence wrapped around them. Then her expression changed. "Serious. I did not come only to thank you." And just like that, the air shifted again. "What's wrong?" he asked. She hesitated. "There is something about that day," she said. "Something you were never told." Lauren immediately didn't like that. The truth hidden in fire. She led him to a small Lemurian vessel docked in a private bay. It shimmered softly, like light trapped in water. Inside, the air smelled faintly floral. Clean. Calm. Too calm. A holographic table activated in the center. Images appeared. Old security recordings. Telos 4. Lauren watched himself on screen, young, desperate, dragging debris away from trapped children. He winced. "I look like I lost a fight with gravity." "You did," she said. Then she changed the display. Medical scans. Energy readings. Encrypted files. The medical wing was not normal, she explained. It was conducting experiments. Lauren stared at her. "What kind of experiments?" "Energy imprint research," she said. "Exposure to unstable cosmic radiation." He felt cold. She zoomed into a file. Children inside the wing that day were altered. He blinked. Altered how? Imprinted with dormant energy, she said quietly. Something that cannot be detected by human systems. The room felt smaller. And this energy, he asked slowly. If activated, she said, it could be extracted. And it would kill the host. Silence. Lauren sat back slowly. That's bad, he whispered. Yes. She met his eyes. Someone has begun hunting the survivors. His stomach dropped. And you think? They found me. He stared at her. You came here. To the station. If someone tracked you. I trust you, she said simply. That hit harder than fear. Why? He asked. Because you ran back into the fire. He blinked. I did. Yes. For who? For the others. The memory flickered. Turning around. Running back inside. He never found them. But he tried. He didn't know that mattered. Until now. Into the nebula. Her ship launched quietly from the station. Stars stretched into white lines. Lauren gripped his seat. I hate this part, he muttered. You are doing well, she said. I'm not. A small creature suddenly jumped into his lap. White. Soft. Glowing whiskers. It chirped. Rhea blinked. That was not here earlier. Of course it wasn't, Lauren sighed. Why wouldn't we also adopt space wildlife during a crisis? The creature curled up and slept. They attach to anxious beings, she explained. Fantastic. Minutes later, the ship slowed. Ahead of them. A swirling nebula. Electric currents danced across it like living lightning. That's where we're going, he asked. Yes. That looks illegal. She guided the ship forward. The nebula swallowed them in color and static. Then, it opened. Inside was a hidden enclave. Lumrian structures floated like silver flowers in space. It was beautiful. And wrong. Too quiet. They docked. Lumrian guardians rushed toward them. Their faces were tense. Someone breached the veil, Rhea translated. A survivor was taken. Lauren felt his heart drop. They're here, he whispered. Alarms suddenly exploded through the enclave. The lights flickered. Energy pulsed violently around Rhea. She gasped. They are forcing activation, she cried. Lauren caught her as she staggered. Her skin glowed faintly. The imprint was reacting. He looked around wildly. Panels. Conduits. Systems. He ran to the nearest console and tore it open. What are you doing? She shouted. Engineering, he yelled back. He rerouted power lines. Crossed circuits. Built a feedback loop using pure instinct. The hunter signal pushed harder. The energy around Rhea flared. Then snapped. The pulse collapsed back into the network and died. Silence. Smoke rose from the melted panel. Lauren blinked at it. That might have been illegal. Rhea stared at him. You reversed their activation signal. I annoyed it, he corrected. A hologram flickered to life. The missing child appeared inside a containment field. Weak. Afraid. They only needed proof, the child said through static. They're coming back for the rest. The image vanished. The room went still. Lauren looked at Rhea. She looked at him. This is not over, she said. No, he agreed. Outside the enclave, something moved within the nebula. Dark shapes. Watching. Waiting. Lauren swallowed. 12 years ago, he ran into fire because it felt right. Now the galaxy was hunting the survivors of that day. And somehow, he was involved again. He looked at Rhea. I guess I'm not going back to my maintenance shift. She almost smiled. I am glad. Outside, the nebula pulsed. The hunters were not finished. And neither was he. The plan that should not work. They gathered in the central strategy chamber. Floating projections showed the nebula and enemy positions. Lauren studied the holograms carefully. His engineer brain was awake now. Wait, he said slowly. Rhea looked at him. What? The nebula, he said. It's not just cover. It's energy-rich. That's why your enclave hides here. Yes. And their activation signal earlier, it used a focused pulse. Yes. Lauren's eyes widened slightly. What if we don't block it next time? The room went quiet. Rhea stared at him. That pulse almost killed me. I know, he said quickly. But what if we redirect it? The commander frowned. Explain. Lauren stepped toward the projection. The hunters are forcing activation remotely. That means they're sending energy through the nebula. The veil amplifies signals. Rhea understood first. You want to turn the veil against them? Yes, he said. Instead of letting the pulse hit the imprints, we let it hit the nebula's charged particles. We create a reflection burst. The commander narrowed his eyes. That would overload their systems. Exactly, Lauren said. And possibly ours, Rhea added. He nodded slowly. Very possibly. Silence. Rhea stepped closer to him. You are suggesting we use the energy inside me as bait. He met her gaze. I'm suggesting we stop running. For a long moment, she studied him. 12 years ago, he ran into fire. Now he was running toward another kind of flame. Finally, she nodded. We do it. The storm begins. The hunters attacked sooner than expected. The nebula shook as a massive pulse ripped through the veil. Alarms screamed. The enclave's shields flickered violently. Rhea stood in the center of the chamber. Her imprint began to glow faintly under her skin. Lauren stood at the main console, hands flying across controls. Okay, he muttered. Please let this work. Outside, one hunter ship broke through the outer mist. Sleek. Black. Sharp angles. It fired another pulse. Rhea gasped. The energy around her flared brighter. Lauren activated the redirect system. Now, he shouted. The nebula responded. The glowing mist around the enclave began to swirl faster. Charged particles aligned like a giant invisible mirror. The hunter pulse hit. And instead of sinking inward, it bent. Reflected. Amplified. A massive wave of radiant energy slammed back toward the hunter fleet. Outside, 2 enemy ships flickered, their shields collapsing instantly. One exploded into silent fragments. The chamber shook violently. Lauren was thrown against the console. Rhea fell to one knee. The glow around her dimmed. The commander stared at the projection. 2 ships disabled, he said in shock. Lauren groaned from the floor. I love it when bad ideas work. But the victory lasted only seconds. A larger ship moved forward from deeper in the nebula. Bigger. Heavier. More dangerous. That, Lauren whispered, is the boss fight. The massive vessel began charging something far stronger than before. Rhea stepped beside him. They anticipated resistance. Of course they did. The main hunter ship launched a concentrated beam. Not at Rhea. At the nebula itself. Lauren's eyes widened. They're destabilizing the veil. The swirling mist began collapsing. If the nebula lost balance, the enclave would be exposed. And destroyed. Rhea looked at him. What do we do? He swallowed. I need to go outside. The commander turned sharply. That is suicide. Lauren gave a weak smile. Yeah. I'm noticing a pattern in my life. Into the fire again. Minutes later, Lauren stood inside a small Lumrian fighter craft. Not designed for humans. Definitely not designed for him. Rhea stood beside the cockpit. You do not have to do this, she said quietly. He looked at her. I know. 12 years ago, he ran back into fire without thinking. This time he was choosing it. If they collapse the nebula, you're exposed, he said. This place. The kids. Everyone. She stepped closer. If you do not return. Then you get really dramatic about me later, he said lightly. Her eyes softened. You are still the same. Terrified. Brave. He didn't argue. The fighter launched. The nebula swallowed him again. The large hunter vessel loomed ahead, feeding energy into the veil. Lauren flew straight toward it. I have no idea what I'm doing, he muttered. He opened the fighter's external emitters. Instead of attacking the ship, he targeted the beam itself. He adjusted frequency, shifted output. The fighter vibrated violently. He aligned with the hunter beam's pulse. Okay, he whispered. You want energy? Take more. He boosted the emitter beyond safe limits. The fighter screamed in protest. The redirected nebula energy surged through the hunter beam channel, straight back into their main core. Inside the large vessel, lights flickered. The beam destabilized. The nebula stabilized. Lauren's console exploded in sparks. His fighter spun out of control. He lost power. He drifted. Through glowing mist. Toward silence. Great, he whispered weakly. I broke it. Darkness crept in. The rescue. Rhea felt it the moment his signal vanished. Her chest tightened. No, she whispered. Without hesitation, she launched her own craft. The commander shouted after her, but she was already gone. The nebula was calm again. The large hunter ship was retreating, systems crippled. But Lauren's fighter drifted lifelessly. She found him floating near a glowing current of light. His ship was dead. She pulled alongside and manually connected docking clamps. She forced open the hatch. Lauren hung in his harness, unconscious but breathing. The small Stardrift cat sat calmly on his chest. Of course it did. She carried him back to her ship. Held him as she flew home. You are not allowed to die, she murmured. You still owe me answers. After the storm, Lauren woke in a quiet chamber inside the enclave. Soft light. No alarms. He blinked slowly. I feel like I fought a star, he muttered. You did, Rhea said from beside him. He turned his head. You came after me. Yes. Good. I was hoping that wasn't the end. She almost smiled. The hunters retreated, she said. Their main vessel was heavily damaged. But not destroyed, he guessed. No. Silence settled between them. Then she spoke softly. You chose to risk your life again. He stared at the ceiling. Yeah. I'm starting to think I have a problem. She shook her head. You do not run from danger. I run toward bad decisions, he corrected. She leaned closer. You run toward people. That hit differently. He looked at her. The energy inside you, he said quietly. It reacted differently this time. Yes, she admitted. It was not unstable. No. It listened. Rhea nodded slowly. The imprint may not be a weapon. Then what is it? She met his eyes. A connection. Outside the chamber window, the nebula shimmered peacefully again. For now. The hunters were still out there. But they now knew something important. The imprints were not helpless. And neither were the survivors. Lauren slowly sat up. So, he said. What's next? Rhea stood. Now we stop hiding. He smiled faintly. That sounds dangerous. Yes. He swung his legs off the bed. Good. The nebula glowed softly around the enclave. The war was no longer silent. The hunters had fired first. But humanity, and Lumrian courage, had fired back. And this time, they were ready. The nebula was no longer quiet. From the observation ring of the Lumrian enclave, Lauren watched the swirling colors twist and darken. What had looked beautiful before now felt alive in the wrong way, like something breathing outside the glass. Rhea stood beside him, calm on the outside. Not calm inside. He could see it in her eyes. They are not leaving, she said softly. Dark shapes moved within the glowing mist. Long, sharp silhouettes. Ships. Hunter vessels. Lauren crossed his arms, trying to look brave. Okay, he said. Let's review. A secret experiment 12 years ago. Children imprinted with mystery energy. Shadow group hunting survivors. And now they're outside your hidden space city. Yes, Rhea said. Great. Just making sure I'm fully terrified. A Lumrian commander approached them. Silver armor. Hard expression. They are broadcasting, the commander said to Rhea. Rhea translated quietly. They are offering terms. Lauren made a face. Let me guess. Hand you over and they promise not to destroy everything. Rhea did not answer. That was answer enough. The commander activated a holographic display. A distorted face appeared, masked, voice filtered. Return the imprinted subjects, the hunter leader said. You do not understand what you carry. The energy belongs to us. Lauren leaned closer. And you belong in therapy, he muttered. The masked figure continued. The imprint is unstable. It was never meant to survive. You are living anomalies. Rhea's jaw tightened. We survived because we were meant to, she said firmly. You survived because of luck, the hunter replied. And luck expires. The signal cut. Silence filled the chamber. Lauren looked at Rhea. They talk too much, he said. That's good. Villains who talk usually lose. She gave him a small look. You assume they are villains. They want to kill kids to harvest space batteries, he said. That qualifies. The commander turned to Rhea. They are preparing a breach pulse. Stronger than before. Lauren sighed. Of course they are.